Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to the House Pro Schedule webinar. My name is Keith. I'm also part of the product marketing team, but I suppose more importantly, and really to help you with this, I used to be a carpenter and builder. I ran my own construction company for 15 years plus. And to be honest, I really wish that I had a tool like House Pro and the scheduling tool to help me run my business when I was running it. We used to use a lot of pen and paper and phone calls, and there is a better way. So excited to dive in and show you around. Really kind of what the goal of this webinar is to give you guys the confidence and the confidence to go away and build your own schedules. Or if you are already using the House Pro schedule, we'll kind of look at some of the more in detail features there. And look, this is really a collaborative process as well. So yeah, we'd love you to ask your questions. Cameron's going to be there manning questions. He'll be stopping me during the demo and kind of yeah, just forwarding your questions. So yeah, please don't be shy and ask plenty of questions. So I think just to kick things off, so what we'll do is just kind of run through a few of the basics, and maybe for the people that don't know so much about schedule. So this is your project overview page. You'll find schedule here in the left navigation. So you just click on that, and it's going to take you into the schedule. So we have a few options on how to start a schedule. We have up here, we have pre-built templates. So you can see you just have a blank screen here at the moment. So we have a residential new build. So just taking a quick look at that. So that just shows you the example of it. And if you do want to use that template, you hit the apply button down here, and then you kind of set your start date. So you can use that template. We have a bathroom remodel, kitchen remodel, and yeah, we have a few other remodels, but something that you can do, I'll show you a little bit later once we've kind of built out the schedule, is that we can turn the schedule that you have built, like maybe for your own company, maybe a few different types of projects you do, but you can save them as templates. So I'll show you how to do that a little bit later once we've built out the schedule. But for this exercise, we're going to go ahead and start from scratch. And you'll see here what that does is it asks you to add your first item. But what I like to do just before we even get started is, I know that contractors work Monday to Friday is kind of normal. Some people work Saturdays. But what we do, we jump into actions up here, and we have workday settings. So you can see on my screen there, I have Monday to Friday selected. If you want, you can select Saturday. You can select just a half day Saturday. You can do Sundays. But for now, we'll just leave it Monday to Friday. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add our first item. So the schedule is set up with a 3-tier structure. So it's got phases, items, and tasks. So a phase is like a category for like in an estimate. So it's really for bundling a group of items together. And then once you have your items built, you can like have multiple tasks under that item. So I'll jump in and kind of show you how that is. So we'll add our first item, which would be site fencing. Okay, we're going to add a second item, so we can just click on the screen here. It's going to let me add a second item. So we're going to go temporary electric. So this is just the very early stages of the project getting started. And we're going to go temporary plumbing. Okay, we're going to make that 2 days. So you can drag this across to show how many days it is that you want. And then over here on the left-hand side, you'll see these names are also here. And there's a few options to edit. But up on the top here, it asks you to create a phase name for this. So we're going to call this preliminaries. And you'll see how these are bunched together. So just like I'll show you more when we get it built out, but you can close this and you can just see all preliminaries are going to take 3 days or whatever that might be. But let's go ahead and add like a second phase. So we're going to add the next phase, which is demolition. And here we're going to start adding items into that phase. So again, you can just click on the schedule under the day you want. We are going to have house strip out. Strip out house. We're going to add another item. Walls, remove walls. We're going to do that. And we're going to add one more item, which is make new openings.
So Keith, there's a question on the floor from Liz about workday settings.
Yeah.
Can you exclude specific holidays or the team or days that the team might be taking off, like someone's birthday or a holiday that's not Christmas or Labor Day, something like that? Can you pick to exclude whatever you feel like it?
That's a great question, and it's something that we have coming very soon. It should be launched in the next couple of weeks. So just those specific days, excluding specific days for holidays, as you said. So that is coming soon. At the moment, we just have the weekday settings.
Great, thank you. This time is for you all. If you have a question, don't be shy. Someone else has it in their head. I probably have it in my head. Type it in the question window. I'll answer it, or Keith will answer it and show you how to do it. So
brilliant.
Please, this time is for you.
Absolutely. Which like all good cooking shows, I'm going to just jump through to and say, here's one I prepared earlier. So we've got a few, just showing you how to create a phase and an item. So I'll just jump into one that I built out a bit more so it doesn't kind of waste time building it out. Okay, so this is basically a full built out schedule. You can see here we have all of the phases, items. Something that we can do is to make an item dependent on another item. So that is by just clicking here on the edge, and then we can click it to this next one, and you can see that this becomes dependent on that. So if for some reason this was to move, they move together. And that works really well, maybe not so much in demolition, but down here when you get to pouring the concrete and starting the brickwork, like you definitely can't start the brickwork until the concrete's been poured. So making those things dependent is really important. But what I'm going to show you now is just how we can jump into each specific item and kind of have a look at some of the settings in there. So you just click on it anywhere. In here you can see the name, the date, the working days it's going to take. So if I was to change this working days to 4, you can see that it has moved this. We'll move it back. So yeah, you can make edits from here, or you can do it directly on the Gantt. It's kind of up to you. And really the schedule tool is all about collaboration. So it's about bringing your team members into the calendar, making sure that they know what's going on. You can bring in your clients for if there's specific things that you want them to do on the schedule. And you can also bring in your subcontractors as well, which I can show you. And something that we've launched on House Pro is a subcontractor dashboard, which allows you to get this schedule information or task information directly to your subcontractors, and they can just click a link in an email and get the information with no login required. So that's been a real game changer for the industry, because we know how much collaborating with subcontractors is a challenge in the industry.
Let's do that as sort of the bonus at the end. I think it would really benefit all the folks here in the room. So let's make time for that at the end, or weave it in more if it makes most sense. There's another question from the floor about what's the difference in an item and a task? Everything you're showing here in the phases, is that technically an item or is that a task? And what's the difference?
Yeah, so everything here is technically an item. So I'll show you here. So this is cut new openings is an item. And then in here, I can create tasks inside of an item. So I'll show you, maybe we could make the front door. There's one task I've made already. So make the front door opening wider, new back door opening. So you can have as many tasks as you like under that one item. And I'll show you here. So we can click into a task. And again, that has its own settings. So you can have a due date. You can assign that to your team members, or click over here to clients and subcontractors, assign it to your client or your subs. you can add a description, and a really cool feature as well is being able to attach a file. So if you had a plan or a photo related to the task that you're assigning, it kind of really keeps the knowledge all centralized in this one task that's been assigned. Something that you can do on tasks as well is to comment. So we can talk to our team members on this, and by using the @ sign, we can mention anyone in our team, and they will get like an email notification and a push notification on their phone, and they'll be taken straight to that task, and they can see what you've mentioned around that task. So again, just a really amazing collaboration tool. I'll stop for a second there, Cameron. Is there any questions around any of these things?
Yeah, there's a few actually. I'm glad you have two separate tabs. Ashley wanted to know, how do you start with something besides a template? So can you go back to the build a schedule?
Yeah. So do you just want to start from scratch? Is that what?
Scratch.
Brilliant. I'll show you that quickly. I'll just delete these and delete these. So you just click on here. So up in the top left, start from scratch.
There you go.
And that just allows you to get started. You just type away here, and that's your schedule started.
Lovely. There was another question about sharing. Are clients aware through the schedule that a subcontractor is scheduled for the work? Like the electrician is booked coming next Tuesday, for example. Does the homeowner know?
The homeowner, you can share that information with them if necessary. Let's say you had the electrical work here, you could create a task on it to notify the client. Is that kind of what you're asking? Just how do we let them know who's coming?
Yeah, I think Michael's question is around keeping the homeowner aware of what's going to happen at their home so they can make arrangements, be at home if needed, or I don't know, if the kitchen is getting demolished, they need to make other arrangements for the next few days.
Yeah, you definitely can assign something directly to the client here and let them know, hey, John, this is happening today or whatever, so that you could do that through the task center, or you could go directly to the client dashboard and you could message them from there if you wanted to let them know that way.
Great, I think that helps.
Yeah, something that we can do as well is change color of certain items. I know that some of the designers and builders out there, they are specific on colors for different items.
Mm-hmm. So Ashley's question about how do you start from scratch? Ashley, it sounds like you're having some technical issues. The button's not showing up for you. You see that little green circle in the bottom right? That is our chat support team. They are there all day long during business hours. They will help you through it. It sounds like you might have something funky on your side. That button should be there.
Yeah, so definitely.
That will help you.
Even if the button is not there, actually, I think you can just click anywhere on the screen and it should allow you to start from scratch. And if it's not, yeah, that'll be a technical issue. But yeah, definitely, guys, I encourage you all to use the live chat that we have here, and we also have an amazing resource of the help center there. So just by typing in your message, it searches the help center and can provide you with answers, which is a super resource. So never feel like you're alone when you're working on our software.
Yeah, we are here for you. And someone's going to ask, but you will all get this recording sent to you shortly afterwards. Don't worry, it's being recorded and we'll send it to you afterwards. 2 questions from Veronica. When you save a schedule as a template, do all the tasks save into that template as well? So everything is a template in your schedule?
Yeah, it does indeed. I can jump in and show you that just as we're asking. So up here in the actions button, so this is where kind of a lot of our more detailed features live. So in here we have save as template, and then it asks you create a template name, and then what parts of this schedule would you like to save and bring forward as a template? Because a lot of the times, maybe the tasks are quite specific to that one job and may or may not be relevant. So you can you can template the phases, items, tasks, and dependencies, which is great. So then when you go to apply that template, you basically just set the start date and everything, all the lags, all the spacings, items, tasks, everything carries over.
Great. There was another question from Veronica just to close that part out. Sorry, finding it, where to go here, published. So back to the client notification part. If you make changes to a phase or an item and you've shared this schedule with the homeowner, does the homeowner get notified when phases move or things change?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of a great segue into probably one of the next features that I'd love to show you, which is this live mode and edit mode. So really what this feature means is that when it's in the live mode, that any changes that you made, if there's people assigned to those items or phases, that they will be notified kind of in real time. But if we change this back to edit mode, you can see here that it will pause the sending of notifications. So as you move around or change the schedule, it won't send reminders. It will wait for you to set that live again, and then it will send all the reminders. So really, it's a way to like bulk edit, or like if you're just setting up your schedule at the start of a job and you are assigning people, but you don't want them to get the notifications, it's best to do that in the edit mode. I'll just set us up in edit mode. You'll see here there's a banner up at the top all the time when you're in edit mode, so it kind of reminds you, and you know that you are there. But yeah, so what happens then is you set that live, and you see here, so all the notifications will be sent, and the schedule will be visible for clients and subcontractors. So yeah, switching that to edit mode kind of stops the notifications and makes the schedule not visible to clients and subcontractors.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about dependencies and moving things around, if you move an item on the schedule that has tasks, do all the due dates for the tasks, do all those dates move as well?
They do indeed, yeah. Yeah, everything moves, which is great. And look, we do know that, you know, it's so common for rain delays or whatever happens, you run over by a day. So like by making these things dependent, you know, if the concrete was a day late, you can end up just pushing everything out really easily, which is great. And then that's
a few people here in the audience have uncovered edit mode versus live mode. That is on our I think that's on a different plan. So Cheryl has this problem, and there's a couple other folks in here as well. What do we recommend if somebody can only use edit mode?
If it's on edit mode, yeah, I suppose just use the platform and set it up as you will, and only set the assignees, I'd say, when you're kind of happy to send those notifications. If it's in live mode, you can still make edits, no problem. But those edits will be sent out as notifications if there's people assigned.
Great. I hope that helps, Cheryl.
Another. Oh yeah, you go.
Yeah, since we're talking about assignments, how do tasks for vendors work? And is there a template for that? Oh, good question, Chelsea. Like, will the same team be assigned within that template at the vendor, or does that happen manually? Like, do vendors and subs and team members behave differently?
Yeah, so like each person is kind of set up as their own individual entity, so you can share things with specific people. Like, it's not sharing it to all subcontractors, if you know what I mean. So you can go client, subcontractors. You can choose from your list of subcontractors or vendors who you want to share things with, or specific items. Same for tasks.
And does all of that show up in the template? Like, is there a template for tasks for subcontractors? If you build it once, does it always follow through in the template?
If you build it once, yeah, it will carry through the assignees, yeah, and the tasks.
Cool.
I think I'm understanding that and answering it.
Yeah, it was just a detailed question, or just a question about using templates. Is there a limit to what you can do in a template?
Yeah, the limit. Yeah, this will be the kind of limit: phases, items, tasks, and dependencies. So just another great feature as well, as we were kind of saying, that like schedules move all the time, is the baseline feature. So really, this is the toggle switch up here. So really what this does is, once you've set your schedule at the start of the job, you're going to say it takes 3 months to do, or whatever it might be. If you set that baseline, let's go ahead and do it. It shows you here that you have everything is on schedule. And when something moves, you can see that it starts to show like 4 days behind, and then the whole schedule from there on starts to be behind. And if this moves out, all these things just start to move behind. So it's really great to see kind of where you are tracking in terms of your original baseline. So that's a really great feature for seeing how your time is progressing based on what your original estimate was for the time for the job. I might just jump in and kind of work down through these actions.
One last question. Can you move the entire start date for the project?
Yeah, here we go. We have that one here. It's a good place to start. So yeah, if you have set up the schedule and something's happened, somebody didn't show up, or you didn't get approvals to start, whatever, you can move the whole project start date. So just click into actions there, set the new start date, and we'll move that to the 20th, and we'll press save. And yeah, it just pushes everything out, which is really handy, because that happens quite often. Working down through some of these other things. So we have a calendar sync. So you can sync this to your calendar, the schedule, which is amazing. You can sync just stuff that's assigned to you, items and tasks, or you can sync all of the items and tasks. So that's really valuable to have. And again here, yeah, you can save this as a template. And then the one other big thing that we have is a huge request is the export. So being able to export, so you can export just the view that you have on the screen, or the full Gantt view. And there's two options there. Sorry. So it gives you the option to do it as a PDF or a PNG. So if you do it as a PNG, it gives you the whole schedule in one sheet. So if you have got a big printer, I know some people love to have it all on one sheet, and then some people don't have such a big printer. The PDF breaks it into printable pages that are kind of a bit larger, and I can show you what that looks like. So page 1 would look like this, and then page 2 would be kind of printed separately. So if you are kind of putting that up on your wall, you can just put them together and kind of sellotape them together. Any other questions there, Cameron? I was going to jump in and show just the schedule overview. So we have the schedule overview, which basically gives you like a bird's eye view of all of the schedules you have for your whole company, which I can jump in and show you.
Yeah, no outstanding questions that I can see so far. Keep going.
Brilliant. Okay, so to navigate to the schedule overview, which we'll show you, so you up here on the top left, you have the search icon, so we can jump in here and have a look. I find the best way to look at this calendar overview is to have the schedule overview is to have it in the calendar format. So you can see here that you've got a calendar view and Gantt view. So we can kind of deselect all the projects here and maybe just select the ones that we're looking at. So you can see here just day by day what's happening on the job. So you can see that the green is associated with this build project. So on Friday, we're going to start with the site fencing. Saturday, we're going to have the electrics and plumbing. and then it kind of moves on through. Yeah, so you can really compare. I think that a great reason for doing this is just to be able to compare, like, is there crossover with team members that should be on this side, maybe on that side, or even with subcontractors, like, am I expecting my electrician to be on 2 jobs at once, or 3 jobs at once? So that's another great feature.
One other question from Jill about associating delays in your schedule with cost overruns. How do we handle that? If, let's say, plumbing slips by a week and you're starting to run behind for the overall project and maybe materials haven't arrived, how do you account for delays in your cost or your budget or your operating capital for the company?
Yeah, that's a good question. I suppose it's kind of down to the individual case of each overrun. We're not like associating time overruns directly with cost overruns. I don't know if you have recommendations. This is a great place for them too. Please let us know if you have a kind of a solution, or if there is something that you would like us to see to be able to connect the schedule with cost overruns. That's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, Jill, would you mind saying more in the chat, and we'll take it back as feedback for our product team to improve schedule? Yeah. But it sounds like associating a scheduled item, like let's say plumbing, with a cost code. I think that's what you're talking about. But if you have any more detail, I would love to hear it, because it's how we improve this feature right here. Mm-hmm. And does anyone else out there want to do that? Is that something you guys care about? Associating job costing with phases of a schedule, and therefore it flows into your budget?
Yeah, and just kind of to second that, if you do, guys, have any other features or critical parts that you think would really work well for you in the schedule that maybe we don't have, we love to hear feedback. As Cameron said, hearing feedback from you guys is how we shape our project, our product moving forward.
Great. Well, let's keep moving. There's no other outstanding questions, unless someone else has another question before we move ahead.
One thing I didn't show you at the start was we're obviously looking at the Gantt view here. So we do have 2 other views, the calendar view, and we have the list view as well. So I do know that a lot of people actually like to look at the schedule in a list view. It's just maybe better on the eye, whereas in construction world, maybe the Gantt view is just a bit more of a common view. But yeah, so we have the options up there. A couple of filters we have: if items are marked as completed, you can view just the open items. The completed items, you can see here that by switching these, this one here is completed. All of these ones are open, so once a completed one was marked, it kind of goes faded, so you can see kind of where you're at in the schedule. Yeah, I think we're kind of like getting towards the end of the functionality, Cameron. So if there is more questions there, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, that's all we have so far. So pull out your hardest questions, you all. And while we do that, Keith, do you want to show off bid management real quick? Subcontractor dashboard. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just jump back. So getting back to the subcontractor dashboard. So you jump back into your project overview, and you see up here on the right, you've got subs. So this is your subcontractors. With the webinar software running, the things do run a tiny bit slowly, so bear with me. But yeah, so up here you can invite a subcontractor. So what we ask for is just the kind of basic information: email, company name, phone number, not mandatory, and then send the invite either through email or text message. So from the subcontractor side of things, they just receive an email, click on the link, and whatever information you have shared with them will be there. And I'll give you a quick look at how that looks. So from your own platform, you can preview what the subcontractor you're sharing your information with will see. Up here in the top right, you choose your subcontractor. And here is basically, this is the view that the subcontractor will get. Now, this has been built with mobile web or mobile view as the main focus, because we know that subcontractors are going to receive the email when they're out on site. They're going to click on their phone and they're going to get this information. So that's brilliant. Here, any files, plans, photos that you've shared, they'll be able to see them. Tasks that you've assigned to them, they'll be able to see them and mark them as complete. And then schedule, any you can choose to share the whole schedule with them or just items that have been assigned to them, which is really awesome. So it's a great way to keep everybody in the whole project just informed and involved, and it's the final step to kind of collaboration. We have team members and everything built into House Pro. We now have this subcontractor dashboard, and we do of course have the client dashboard.
Okay, if there's no other questions, let's leave it here. Thank you guys so much for your attention. Really amazing questions. You've helped us understand how you guys use Schedule, and I hope there's some, I hope to connect with each of you soon. Again, if you have questions, that little green bubble in the bottom right of your screen will help you. Those folks are there all the time, and they know the product like the back of their hand. And with that, we will stop. So you'll get the recording shortly, and we'll be in touch. See you soon. Thank you for coming.